Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an all-new episode of your favorite podcast, the one, the only, Bearded Biomed. I am joined with a special guest tonight. That's right, I said tonight. We're taking this after hours, Bearded Biomed style. I'm joined with the one, the only, HTM On The Line himself, Bryant Hawkins. Appreciate you being on, brother.
Hey, man. How you doing, man? Glad we finally can get together.
Man, it's been what? It's been at least a year in the making, something like
Dude,
that.
I don't know. It's been crazy.
Got me on the mic whispering shit because my kid's down sleeping.
I've been there, brother. Those days are over for me, though.
Yeah, if y'all listening, it's y'all are hearing our sultry, quiet evening voice after a long day at work. So what's going on with you, man? What's new?
Not much, man. Just taking it one day at a time, bro. Doing like you, podcasting and day-to-day work. You know how it is. We ain't joint commission window at work, so every day is.
Tell me this is that season, right?
Yeah, every Monday and Tuesday, we wondering. So after Tuesday, if we don't hear from them, okay, well, another week gone.
Yeah, you're in that window that you find out last minute. Hey, we need you here now.
Yeah, because like you said, they don't announce anymore. It's just they walk up.
That was probably one of the only small things that came from COVID. Is either they canceled the Joint Commission inspections, or they just did them over Zoom, or it was a lot more, relaxed. Yeah, I still think because I have clients both that do Joint Commission and DMV. I still think they both have their own separate challenges, but DMV usually wants you to have that credentialing packet where you got to do like a technician's resume, certifications, their competency levels, test certificates of all the equipment, how they tie to all the. It's just this is extra paperwork.
So we do all that, but they don't ask for it, but we have it.
Yeah. So let's not beat around the bush here. Mr. Influencer of the Year, congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, it's always special when you get that first one, right? That inaugural.
There you go, man.
The originator, the OG.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we were all kind of like, I'm sure all of us wanted to win, but at the same time, it's like, it's an annual thing, and you've been killing it, doing your thing, and motivating people. I know one of your other AKs probably be Mr. Motivational Monday, dropping those videos. Hey, which I wanted to ask you, how did that start?
I'm gonna tell you honestly. Like I always tell people about my son who's in the industry, and he got into the industry during COVID, and he was graduated, no prom, anything, nothing, no graduation. And so he didn't know what he wanted to do. I said, well, man, why don't you just try this? And he tried it. He went to CBET, did it online. 16 months later, he's in the industry. So I was like, man, I wonder if that's something I can just share with all teenagers. Not that they would do it, but it's something that can put an option.
You're lighting a path.
Yeah. And then I noticed a lot of kids and biomeds, a lot of managers, unfortunately, but a lot of leaders are not the most engaging. And so I'll talk to people and they'll be like, man, I wish I had a manager that cares. So I said, man, maybe I'll start doing little tidbits. And that's what just giving somebody a little encouragement, because, this industry, it's a great industry, but it can also be a very challenging industry if you don't have the right leadership in place. And so if I can share some of my obstacles I've overcome with someone, who knows? And I've been getting positive feedback. So that's where that motivational videos came from. Just trying to.
Well, I know over the past couple of conferences, you've been doing your 31 lessons over 31 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's been a hit from what I hear. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make one yet, but I'm sure you're going to keep slinging that around all the conferences because, like I said, it's been received very well.
Hey, man, we got MD Expo, man. Come check it out in Vegas, man. We'll be doing it there. But I try to mix up my lessons because, of course, we got more than 30. We can go about it 75. And what I did recently, I used to just give like a 45-minute presentation. Now I turned it into like a interaction. What I do, I'll share a lesson, my thought on it, and then I'll open it up to the floor. Usually by lesson 15, people start giving some experience. They be shy in the beginning, but it leads to a whole another level of communicating because people start sharing about, yeah, I had that same experience about humility, and they're sharing their stories. And so now it then turned into a roundtable discussion.
Right.
Then more than me just sitting up there talking.
You know, that gives me flashbacks, man. My very first MD Expo, Georgia, was when I first met you,
Mm-hmm.
and we did that roundtable together.
Yep.
Microphones are all screwed up. Vincing Wayne grabbed the mic and
Took
taught, you
over.
know, educated us, man. Like that was the first time me experienced been saying, and like, you know, a lot of the interactions and everything happened with that first roundtable. And
Absolutely.
I remember the interaction of that, and like just more of how more people got something out of it as opposed to just sitting there and getting spoke to.
Yeah. And that helps. Then it helps the time go. And it's amazing how to hear, well, you know, you do your interviews, the stories people have in this industry, man. It
Yeah.
helps. I mean, I tell people all the time, everybody has a story. You know, it's not for you to keep to yourself. You got to share it with the world. I mean, let them hear it because you know it, but you don't know who you can help with your story.
More often than not, either people have the similar kind of background that you've gone through, or you know, they might benefit from maybe some of the circumstances you had. Like, hey, I never thought of it that way. Maybe
Yeah,
I need to approach it
exactly.
that way.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of these younger techs getting into the field. Like, you know, I wish I knew half the things I knew, which is, you know, privy to your speech you give. I wish I knew half the things I knew now when I got started. I would have done things a hell of a lot differently.
And honestly, they also have LinkedIn. That wasn't out then. So you can reach out to people on social media and talk to them where you didn't have that access to biomeds, you know, and I think that's a great tool that the industry, to me, they're starting to use it, but they could probably use it even more.
One of my biggest frustrations with all these younger techs I either interview straight out of biomed school, college, whatever, none of them have a LinkedIn. I'm like, at the bare minimum, even if you're not in there, you know, doing what you and me do on, you know, posting stuff and all that, LinkedIn will serve you so much in this career field, especially.
Yes.
Just because the networking component of it. You never know what, looking for jobs, looking for, you know, special circumstances. Like there's all kinds of this stuff that gets posted on LinkedIn.
Oh man, advice. I mean, they can reach out to you. They can touch you directly. If an episode you might have said something, they can reach out and say, Chase, I have a question. And that's something you can't do if you don't have your cell phone number, obviously. So,
well, it's been beneficial in the aspect of, you know, I'm never going to tout myself as a subject matter expert, but I'm out there, you know, presenting myself as an influencer in the field, as somebody that is speaking for the field, people that either don't know about it or are trying to learn about it. Having that LinkedIn aspect where they can look me up, see my credentials, and see that you know, I'm vetted, that I'm credentialed, that I know what the hell I'm talking about. You know, it just adds an extra layer.
Yeah. And it's not like I tell people all the time, it's not that you're smarter, you're just exposed to more.
Yeah.
You're just more into it because you talk to more people. So you're getting more insight, and that's beneficial because you have interchange of knowledge there that we probably wouldn't. You talk with a lot of people intimately, and that information sticks with you, and then you could turn around and share that. So,
well, just over the past 2 years of doing this podcast, I have more contacts that have benefited me both personally, professionally, and the business I work for as well.
Absolutely.
Through service literature, through finding people positions, like it's just the breadth and scope of what's available out there. I have so much to thank for, you know, my wife pushing me to do this podcast back in the day.
Hey man, I always told you, man, between you, Sherrill, and Justin, that's what made me real. Actually, you got me into the podcast world because I was like, man, I saw Sherrill does it, but you really made me get into the podcast. And then after I got into the podcast, I said, you know what? Let me see if I can twist it some kind of way where we all ain't doing the same thing. I mean, there's so many lanes in this industry.
Yeah.
That people
I would say we've successfully, like, nobody is doing the same thing.
Exactly.
I'm strict. I pretty much just basically do interviews for the most part, but I mean, you do them too. But like, we go about them a different way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's purposely on my end. I'll be like, man, Chase done got somebody I wanted. So now I got to wait 6 months, you know, because at one point I said, man, I got to expand my circle because everybody I want, he got.
Well, you got to remember that first year, I was shoving bearded Obama down everybody's throat. I had a new episode every week.
Yeah, man.
This new guest. I was
You were.
slinging beards across the network, man. And once I got established, and of course after the kid, I had to slow down a little bit. Now I'm doing like a couple episodes a month, but
Yeah,
I'm trying to go for quality over quantity.
absolutely. I mean, like you said, you got to have that consistency at the beginning just to build up your audience, and it's not your full-time job, so that's what makes it. Because some guys do podcasts every day, but that's their job.
Yeah, we ain't making money like that though. I
Yeah.
got a family to support. I got a mortgage.
Hey man,
Yeah,
preach.
I got tequila to buy. All the important stuff.
Motorcycles, a personal
Mhm.
gym. You got a lot of toys, man. Lighted up sign in the background.
Hey, I'm still glad I made the investment, but I'm telling you, if you get you something like that, hit me up. I might be able to give the company I use. They give me a pretty good discount. It was still costly though.
Dude, I got too many bad habits, man. I don't need any more. I got too many toys.
My wife has a running joke that every single year I pick up a new hobby and just add it.
Yeah,
I still enjoy the other hobbies, but I always add something else.
exactly. So, man, I'm like, I can't. I love it, man. But see, you do the video podcast, and see, this is new to me. I don't do video, so that's
you
man.
do. You just don't throw yourself in there.
Yeah, there you go. That's the key word. Yeah.
See, you benefited too with your show though, because I see a lot of people in our space. Like when I see Justin do something, or like when you do something, or like how you're either doing your videos, your content. Like I see little things that you're doing that most people won't really appreciate either. Because they're not doing it. Because certain aspects of it take time, take money.
Oh yes.
And it's like there's just little things I'm like, oh, that's cool. I wish I could do that, or I need to look into that.
Hey,
we feed off each other in that.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, it's like, like you said, it takes time. A 2-minute video might take me 2 hours. They just see 2 minutes. You gotta.
Well, the beautiful thing about consistency with this is like, we tend to actually put together a workflow.
Yep.
And like, I remember when I first started, like it would take me hours upon hours just doing audio because it had to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then like now I've gotten into where I'm editing video and audio and I can do multiple, but it was an investment, man.
Oh man. Then like you said, the more you do it, you get that muscle memory, and it's like, hey. And the video part is easy for me, honestly, because I was that team dad for videos. So I kind of had a lot of
background extracurriculars you've done too.
Yes.
Between your photography, DJing, like you're inclined to it already.
That's what made me go that route. I said, man, I was doing it for people, tributes for sports at the end of the season. I said, man, I got to start. Then I started noticing on the internet, a lot of people do those type of videos for life. I said, well, if I can give some nuggets for our industry.
Hey, you know what? I got something I'm going to pitch to the field right now that you can do for everybody. Everybody hit up HTM On The Line. He'll make you a biomed highlight tape.
Good idea, man. Hey.
Going for a job interview, turn on a biomed highlight tape of your best.
Now, there's a guy online, man. He does for not biomed, but it's for like the hospital, the medical field. Like, say you post a job, what he would do is he'll go into the hospital, interview the people for the department you will be working for. So you actually would see the people, like the manager you'll be working for, your co-workers, and he interviews them, asking them about the job, how's everybody working together, relationships. And I thought that was pretty different to where you actually see your department during the interview because they get interviewed.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty slick.
Putting faces to the job.
Yeah, because you interview, you might talk to the manager and everybody going to say you have a great department.
Hmm.
Then you get there and be like, okay.
Ain't that always the truth, though? You go to apply a job, nobody shit stinks. It's the greatest job ever. We've never had anybody leave for any reason.
Mm.
And why is there a position open?
Hey, man. Hey, it's a little different now, like you said, with the older ones leaving the industry, man. It's just, but I personally believe it's gonna work itself out. I think, man. These kids are so amazing, man. Oh my God, they're so smart. They just need guidance. Guidance. That's all.
Yeah, I think in respect of teaching them the aspects of the job, they're from a lot of the newer techs I've hired, they pick it up pretty quickly. But learning the other side of it, the customer interaction,
Yes.
the communication, the work ethic, like
Yeah.
that's the part that people in my seat, your seat, that's where we can lend to the next gen. The
Absolutely.
mentorship aspect of how you conduct yourself professionally and as a
Yes.
biomed.
Yeah. That's the part I do with the motivating videos, because everybody have challenges, and sometimes they give in to those challenges. Like, man. So sometimes you got to fight that inner feeling, and I think personally, they always say I could teach the skill, but you can't teach the will. So
I
you
like
give me
that.
somebody with heart, man, I could work with them all day long.
So I'm gonna be frank, man. I got a guy that we hired back in October, and he didn't get formalized biomed training, but he'd been in the industry, through like asset management and such. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a very rocky start. Like, not familiar with the theory of just anatomy physiology, having to learn like what a lot of equipment does. But I poured into him. I have no problem giving my time to somebody that shows they care.
Absolutely.
And he fudged up a lot. I'm just being real. But you know what? Every time he's like, I'm working on it. I recognize, I'm gonna keep working at it. I'm gonna get better. And he's slowly gotten better. He's slowly like it's clicking. It just, and then I had another cat that he went to a formalized biomed school, picked up shit real quick. But he's actually taking off here soon to go for another position just because he wants to live in a different area. I'm like, I'm never gonna fault anybody for going after something they want.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a small field. You're a young dude. Like, go do your thing. I appreciate you giving me time to make sure you get your work done before you leave. Professional about it. Like, there's ways you can conduct yourself in this industry, and there's wrong ways, and I've dealt and seen with both.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I'll tell my guys, unfortunately, you may have to, I mean, I hate to use the word fail, but you will have some failures. I mean, unfortunately, that's the only way you're going to know you winning or you progressing, unfortunately, because if you do everything perfect, then how you going to really know what
But
you
you know
know?
what? That one time you fuck up real bad, you'll get it right the next time.
Oh man, and it's so challenging, but I think a lot of the people we lead, they learn from our example. They see your passion, so that helps because you're not just saying do as you say, you're saying do as you do. And I think that's where we have to go as far as leaders. We have to be an example for these young kids because they're very impressionable.
Yeah.
And if you take a shortcut, guess what? They're gonna take two shortcuts.
Oh yeah. Like, he did it. That must be. He can't get over me about it. I saw him do it.
Exactly. And I mean, it's a beautiful industry, I'm telling you, but at the same time, you can really cause some damage because it's also an industry that's built on integrity. I mean, ethics. Because
Oh man.
you could do a PM by just walking in and licking and sticking. I can't prove you didn't do it. I mean, some things you
I'm
can. You can crack it open to see if the dirty and stuff, but for the most part, who got time to do that?
so like a lot of people have met me over the few years. One is like Justin, for instance, said about me. He said to me, I've watched you, and like I notice you measure your words with everything you say. You carry yourself a certain way. I said, the one time you mess up, everybody will remember it. It doesn't matter how many times you do good. And that's very much so with even client facing. They're always gonna, unfortunately, it's human nature. We're gonna push towards the negative just because everybody gravitates toward that. I mean, news, social media, like all that stuff goes towards the negativity. So you got to
Mhm.
conduct yourself like a professional at all times.
Yep.
And I don't, I don't really make it to where like I don't really get angry at all. But the one thing that will automatically piss me off and get somebody on my bad side is if you question my integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's all you have, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
In
and
this
just like you
field.
just mentioned about you do everything where you don't try to make mistakes and they remember that failure. That can also be a flip side to that. It's like some people try hard, and then you can do everything average, but then when you hit it out the park, that
Yeah.
might be all they remember. Like I think Michael Jordan, he missed like 20,000 shots in his career. But you don't
They
remember
still
all that.
remember those 6 rings, don't they, though?
Exactly. So I mean, it's all about how you learn from your mistakes, I think, personally. Because in our industry, it's kind of tough. I mean, you got service manuals, you got policies and procedures in place. Just
There's
follow
no
it.
way we can know everything, man.
No, exactly.
I'm not specialized in anything. I'm very much a generalist biomed, but I can go in, assess something, and work on something and feel
Yep,
confident that I can at least, dive into it, especially with support like tech support manuals, whatever.
absolutely. Yeah,
My anesthesia tech was on vacation last week, and we had an emergency.
of course.
Stephen 5 went down, and they're like, "Yeah, we had a patient, and they on high pressure. They destabilized, and we need you out here immediately." I'm like, shit. Of course, he's literally out of the country. The one time this call comes in, I don't have anybody else anesthesia in my area. I'm like, I guess I'm putting on a bunny suit and walking in there. And you saw I was in a bunny. I was working on it while we were doing our
Yeah.
Zoom call.
Mhm.
And I don't work on anesthesia, but I know how they're supposed to work. I know how a ventilator works.
Mhm.
I went through the steps, pulled out service manuals, and ended up finding out there was a busted scavenger bag. They had it taped up in the bag, and
Wow.
there was a leak. So the leak was causing backflow,
Yeah,
and
that's
got them back up and running. It's I'm glad it worked out that simply. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way.
Hey man, just keep it simple. I mean, it's a lot. And I look at today's time, man. I mean, the industry has evolved so much with troubleshooting. Test equipment is so advanced now than before. I mean, it's
Yeah, they're running reports and shit in the test equipment.
exactly putting it in your work order automatically. And I remember one time it used to be the voltmeter was my number one tool.
Yeah.
That's like the least one. It's so many different. You got to read a manual now to use test equipment. I mean, it's so
No
sophisticated.
joke. Well,
It's
it depends on what you're using too. We're still using
yeah,
like my defib tester was in a wooden box.
yeah. I remember it worked though, man. Hey.
Yeah, it works.
Now they got this ESU analyzer, man. This thing is Fluke has it does everything, man. The ohm box is built in it, so you don't have to have an external ohm box. But you got to learn how to program this thing. I mean, the book is thick, and I'm like, I'm glad I don't have to use this every day, guys. Like, but
That's the one piece of test equipment that like I still feel like we haven't figured out how to condense it because of the amount of the separate ohm blocks and stuff you got to have with it. Like I'm still rocking that the BC Technical one, that big ass giant box. Yeah,
they're easy though, man.
They're easy. Yeah. But they're heavy as shit.
You got to carry a lot of stuff with you though. Yeah, you can read, but not like you said. Those things they didn't fail, but you get this one that's all in one. Sometimes you get errors and stuff, but it's a lot, dude. I mean, the test equipment today is like, man, it's amazing the stuff they have today. I'd just be in awe of it. Hey,
So let me ask you this, man. What 'cause I see what you're doing with HTM on the line. Like what do you where do you see it going next? Like and of course, where do you see like what all we're doing going?
what I'm trying to do, man, I try to always see what I can do to push myself differently. Like I'm trying to start now a monthly newsletter. And what I do with the newsletter is I reach out to people and ask them to send me an article, and internationally too, not just in not in the HTM industry. I got people that's end users. I got people that's overseas. I got people that's on the SPD side, the user side, and radiology on the end user side, writing about their struggles. And also, one of my goals is talk about how the relationship works with biomed. Because a lot of times we talk about everything we do, but we don't ever bring that side of the table, that side of the spectrum to the table. ICE kind of does it because they have both there. And you'd be surprised what you hear from the end user, how they appreciate biomed. So that's my angle with the newsletter, is kind of merging them together.
Share perspective.
And just to give it some different information out there. I mean,
well, that would be something different you're doing than most people, because a lot of our editorials, our magazines, stuff like that, it caters to that specific audience. There's kind of no branching information or sharing of, experience that I know of out there like that.
And then you can go into maybe once a month interviewing that side of it, where it's not always, because think about it, healthcare technology management is more than just biomed. I mean, it's IT. I mean, actually, even the end users, they could be part of healthcare technology management. Using an ultrasound machine, using an anesthesia machine, it's not just gas anymore. It's a lot of technology involved because you got the EMR system. So that's another way of maybe down the road, like maybe once a month, interview somebody from that perspective. That way I'll bring both on the show. I mean, maybe that's something you can even throw in the realm with you.
I think that would, part of the mission, besides catering to biomeds as we do, is expanding outreach to where we're reaching those different professions and building a collective kind of, ecosystem, as I like to call it, the biomed ecosystem, expanded towards all-encompassing HTM.
Yeah, because I want us to look back, man. You're a lot younger than me, so you'll be around still. 10 years from now, you might see these young kids decide to start a podcast. He's like, man, they got 5 of them. They got 20 of them out there. And to me, people be trying to say we don't want to flood, because I was teasing Danielle about it. I said, man, you can start you a little podcast. I've been enjoying your interviews. Nah, there's enough of it. I said, Danielle, there's never enough.
You know how many podcasts are in the United States alone?
Literally. I'm telling you.
A lot of them talk about the same shit. I mean, think of how many medical podcasts out there. But just nurses and doctors alone, we got room.
Literally. How many HTMs you have? 4?
Yeah.
5 maybe. I saw a new gentleman. I couldn't remember what city he lived in. I reached out to him. He's starting to do videos on YouTube. I forgot his name also. He's starting to do a podcast on YouTube.
We got some folks doing some cool stuff. We got you, me, Justin, of course. Cheryl does her audio. Mayra, Biomed Girl, does her Instagram, TikTok. Alaskan Biomed Tech, she does some Instagram videos of her experience in flying out to different clinics. It's pretty dope. Then we got HTM Workshop, Brian's thing. Carlos is doing some stuff. There's still plenty of room for it.
And that's not counting the international guys. Mr. Biomed, I seen him one time on YouTube.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
I don't know what country he's in, but I'm more than sure there's plenty of them. We just don't know about them on that side of the world. But I mean, I think there's a lot of room for more.
Can you see your metrics of like your podcast audio, like international and such?
Yeah.
I always love looking at that, because it's crazy to me that last I checked, I was in 62 different countries.
Yep. Something like that, dude.
Think of somebody listening to your podcast all the way over in Egypt or Africa or Japan.
All of the continents got at least one.
It's dope.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. And then they reach out to you on LinkedIn and want to befriend you. Mercy Ship, that's one that
I think that was one of your coolest interviews you did.
Oh man,
that was one of my favorites.
The guy that won the humanitarian award, he's going to be at MD Expo. And Emmanuel, I think his name was. I can't wait to meet him, because it's pretty cool what they're doing on the Mercy ship. It's all volunteers. It's like to go volunteer is amazing. They get a lot of training now because Deborah, I interviewed her, man, she got Phillips training, she got
Yeah,
GE.
she was listing off like all the stuff she works on. I was like,
That's amazing. I'm like, man, she come to America and write a ticket.
yeah,
Like, I tease her a lot. I said, man, you ought to they would love to come here, I'm assuming, but I don't want to take away from her mission. Because they do great work over there at the Mercy Shop. They're going to be at Amy, so that's some
I'll be
cool
there.
people.
I just booked my ticket yesterday. My wallet fell through the floor, but other than that,
Yeah, I saw Danielle interviewed you where you're going to be working the floor.
yeah,
Yeah.
me and Justin gonna be walking around microphoning people.
Man, if was it San Antonio? I think it was, or was it? Yeah, it was Long Beach rather. Man, he's walking around with a camera crew. Man, it's like it's a big crew you're gonna be walking around with. They're gonna be an iPhone. It's gonna be cameras and lights. I'm like, wow.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
The funny part too is like I used to have stage fright. Like I did not do public speaking. I didn't like really engaging with like doing the audio section of the podcast really helped me,
Yeah.
get comfortable under my skin, which there's not much I can talk to anybody about all day long, but it's biomed. So
Yeah.
that also helped too. Because I love what I do. And that's also something that's probably separates us from most professions is most biomeds love what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
How does what's better? You're getting paid to do something you enjoy doing and you find reward in doing on a day-to-day basis.
Very, very fulfilling, man. I mean, I work at the Children's Hospital, so it's like,
Yeah,
man,
you
it's
just stacking up the good virtues with that.
You just walk around the hospital, man. You see these babies pulling IV pumps. I'm like, wow, that makes what we're doing worth it. The fact they can walk around the hospital because that pump is working is a fulfillment, because.
And they've gone through so much, they don't need to be worrying about if something's gonna break on them or not.
Absolutely, especially when you go to children, because nobody go to Children's Hospital, okay, you're stressed, and a lot of times I have to learn how to greet the parents, because I'll be always saying, "How you doing?" So I try to change it up. I said, I just hope your day gets better, because I know you're not doing great because you're in Children's Hospital. So most likely everybody any hospital for that matter, nobody's in a good mood.
Yeah, that's you know about by now a lot of people know about the book, but that's one of my favorite places to donate the book to for children's hospitals because like a couple of the kids I've handed them to, they were like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool, and there's some funny stuff in the book too. They I make a kid laugh for a second. I always tell people like I of course I'm selling the book. But if people have, like, for instance, children's hospitals and stuff that I could send the book to, I'm more than happy to donate books.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not making that much money on these books. I'm making pennies to the dollar. It's just more of like just trying to expand
awareness, man.
Awareness.
Yes, and it's happening. Honestly, dude.
I'm taking the long road with it. Talking to like elementary, kids, but. You got to start somewhere, and by the time we reach out to them in high school, it may already be too late. So,
man, my new thing I'm going to be doing, I was going to expose it on my next video, but I'm just going to give it a premiere here. Like when I go to these high schools moving forward, I'm trying to get a video because I have them holding the Amy book up. But what I'm going to start having them say is, I am HTM. I am HTM. Each kid. And I think that'd be pretty cool. Just to have that, because I can't think what video I saw that on where the kids were saying, I think it was a football athlete or something, and they were saying that they were that athlete, meaning they can do. And that's what I'm gonna start doing every time I go see these kids, and I think that'll resonate. Somebody gonna become HTM one day because they said it. It's just, I think honestly, man, these kids, it's so weird, Chase, that 2024, and people still don't know what we do. I mean, it's almost.
Well, it's how you interact with the kids, man. Because like when I'm talking about like the days of like, PowerPoint presentations and like, you know, the old school career fairs, like which they still have, but ki- kids have to be talked to a different way now.
Oh yeah.
They see
Oh
the
yeah.
world differently just because the internet, social media has opened up so many different interactions for them that they can get information with a click of a button.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what do they need you for? That's how we need to look at this.
And the way I approach them, honestly, like I went to my old high school a couple of weeks ago, and I started out telling the kids, I sat right there where you were, and I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, I thought I wanted to be this, thought I wanted to be that. You know, I kind of humanized myself with them, and then explained to them how long I've been doing this. How did I get into this industry? I'm like, I happened upon it. Nobody told me about it. I didn't have a career day where a bald man walked in the classroom and spoke to us. I said, so, and I'll tell them, this is not something you have to do. Just look at it as an option. I said, but it's a career. I mean, that's the part I think a lot of folks don't get. This is a career. It's not a trade. They try to give us that title like we're a trade, but it may be at a trade school. But you come out that trade school and you in a career and you can grow.
You know what? Even if it is a trade, trade jobs make a hell of a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Electricians, plumbers, they make more money than a regular corporate business job.
Roofers
think
make tons of money.
Yeah. There ain't no stink on a trade job nowadays. Like,
oh no,
welders especially. Anything in our space is going to be, IT. Anything in that electrical, mechanical range. The options for them expand exponentially.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, if you was to put our industry up against any industry as far as return on investment, I guarantee you we number one. Close. We're in the top 5. Because most colleges, when you go to college, you probably in a lot of debt. But, and you can still go to college in this industry and they'll pay for it. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do it. You don't have to stop. But you can get in this industry and then start growing professionally, educationally. It's limitless and it's continuing to grow. I mean, every day you read about something different that's coming about in this industry, like cybersecurity, biomed IT. I mean, right now they're building all these pieces of equipment. They're pretty much computers. And IT doesn't want to touch it. That's a piece of medical equipment. But I need to hook up to the EMR. So
yeah,
we have to learn how to look up all the IP addresses and subnet. I mean, what is the subnet? But I had to figure it out, but that's just something that we have to do.
Get on that 255, sir.
There you go. And I like the idea. I mean, I always go in the shop and try to get with the guys so I can stay fresh. Because I always tease people. I say, hey, you never know, man. I might become a biomed in 5 years. Who knows? I mean, hurricane hit, hospital go away. Might have to go be a PMed somewhere. I mean, you never know. I love working with my hands, so it wouldn't be an issue for me because I genuinely love every aspect of this business.
So, what was the last piece of equipment you worked on?
IV pump. Honestly, IV pump, man. Plum.
The gift that keeps on giving.
The Hospiro pumps, man, because it was so funny. My last job, I was in Florida, and I was doing the PMs, and I used to know them so well. I could tell by the alarms if my technicians were skipping a step. And then I didn't skip a step. And I tell them, now, you want me to pull the history? Because on the Hospiro pumps, they record every single alarm. So I can know if you did the inclusion test. So, and how did you know that? I'm like, because you might be the same way. Whenever I worked on the equipment, I took it personal, whether it was a hospital bed, which people call grunt work. I didn't care. I work on hospital beds like it's a heart lung machine.
I work on hospital beds all the time.
They're the easiest, to me, pieces of equipment because they're big. So it's not hard to fix the stretchers with a hydraulic pumps. You got to change those. You got to get creative by yourself because you got to take that whole thing off. And
man, I got some 2x4s I just keep in the truck.
Yeah, on the surgical table, where you gotta I thought about the
Uh-huh.
2x4, you gotta pull up those
Yup.
trousers. I
Yup.
mean, dude.
Bungee cables.
Yeah, there you go. The guy from Steris taught me that one. He said, "Man, get some bungee cables and hold them
Mm-hmm.
up. And they get disconnected, dude. You got to put them back, and it's expensive." But I enjoyed it all. I mean, they'd be like, "Dude, you're the only manager I know who come to work in scrubs." I don't do it as much as I used to, but I mean, I enjoy it. Hey, man,
I love me some scrubs, man.
that's one of the toughest things I had to learn is to stop repairing. Let
Yeah.
them do it because it's like it's just it's part of you. I mean, it's hard for you just to let it go. But I mean, I had to because I had to focus on other parts of the business,
Yeah.
and but it's
I've,
tough.
I've given give yourself, or if they need
Yeah,
some assistance or mentorship, or
yeah,
maybe something's going down, like that's kind of the role I've kind of.
absolutely. Because I might not know how to fix it, but hey, let's talk about it.
Mhm.
But let's see if you missed something. And we got to buy this. It costs $3,000. Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about this first. Why are we not buying this part? Well, and then we go to talk it out, and we realize, well, maybe we can go this route.
Yeah, let's find the cheaper part first.
Yeah. And that's a lot with the blanket control. Blanket control, you got the sensor issue where the little sensor breaks where it said I think it's no water. And they replaced the board when it actually wasn't the board, but it was like the sensor cut. And the board was like 1,500, well, the sensor was like, I think, if I'm saying the
Yeah.
wrong name, whatever it is, but it's
But
just
see,
something
it's
simple.
yeah, it's little stuff like that. You kind of realize like sensors and little crap like that are more prone to break than the actual board themselves. A hell of a lot cheaper too.
Because there's no soldering anymore. Well, not much. So
I still got a soldering iron, man. I still whip it out from time to time.
yeah.
Which nowadays, they got those portable ones too, which makes my life a hell of a lot easier.
Oh, really? I never seen the portable
Yeah,
ones.
I got a little soldering iron that it's got a little screw on cap, so as soon as you're done, you can unplug it from the wall, screw it on, and you don't got to worry about burning nothing.
Mm, mm, mm.
And it was
That's
like
pretty cool.
$20.
Oh man, yeah. I'm surprised
Hey,
Justin
I'm
didn't
field
make a video
service.
of
We're
that,
we're
man.
mobile, baby. We gotta burn and turn.
I do, yo. I tell people we have it in the hospital. We don't know what we're gonna run into, but field service is even more challenging because you don't have the ability of a hospital. Your biomed shop downstairs. Your biomed shop is the car outside on the truck, and you got to be a little more thorough.
Whenever I interview folks, a lot of them, because I love hiring new grads. I love starting their career, building them up from the bottom, just building that foundation, whether they
Yeah,
stay or not. And some of the ones I've interviewed from that have came from in-house position, I'm like, look, I'm not saying you can't do the job. I'm saying this is going to be different. You are not going to one place every day. You're going to sometimes half a dozen places in a day. Or,
yes,
all kind. You can have inspections, you can have repairs, you can have all kinds of stuff that hits you all at once. The biggest part
yes,
of what makes somebody successful in field service is how well you manage yourself.
yeah, because
And that's it, man.
you may walk into a hostile environment. Something simple as a cast saw. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
experienced that with our clinics. Cast saws broke. There's no spares.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to take for this cast saw to get fixed? And however you answer those questions can determine if you're going to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, because y'all got those satellites, right?
Yeah, man.
They be shooting you a stat emergency on call for an otoscope.
Hey, we leave those alone, but I get you. But
Yeah.
but this cast saw, man, we had one went down and they need them. Kids come in there and it broke. They borrowed one from a neighboring hospital, but at the same time, it's like they don't have spares, and it's you don't know how serious a cast saw is until you don't have one.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of things too. I'm sure you see it a lot. Is a lot of medical facilities or programs in general. They don't plan for redundancy, or if something does go down, what's a plan?
Hmm.
You don't have a plan listed, especially for some specialty stuff, which is crazy to me.
All right, man. We pretty. It's I guess I can say hospitals are a little. We have a little more wiggle because we got a lot of spare stuff. Spare equipment, unless it's the CT, of course. Then that's gonna get fixed because
Yeah.
all night. You're getting it fixed, but it's not as field service is a little to me. It's challenging. You guys have every day is truly different. No day is the same for you guys, definitely. And most times when they break, the people are waiting for you. You walk in there, you the savior. Well, you better be the savior, because they'll tell you don't come back if you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's you don't have to deal with the same people every day. You gotta build relationships on the spot with different people all the time.
Yeah, and the doctor's fussing at them, so it's gonna translate to you. You guys got to be able to navigate it. It could be challenging, It could be done.
Man, it's been cool having you on, bro, because
Yeah.
we've been trying to do this for so long, and I was like, no matter what, we're doing this.
It feels good to be a guest, man. Honestly, well, I feel like
Right?
I
It's
feel like I'm a
different.
guest. Honestly, I
It
feel
feels. I'm not a guest that often, but when I am, I'm like, wait, I just got to show up and talk. That's it.
yeah.
I don't got to do
it's
no
like,
editing. I don't
hey,
gotta
bro.
schedule nothing. I don't
but
gotta do the social media part. Like,
Hey, man, I take my hat off to you with the video process, man. That's a good one there, man.
I got a system now. I got some B-roll, for the intro and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah.
I think your nickname should be B-roll, man. Because you come from a photography background, like you do some, and I mean your videos are B-roll pretty much too.
Hey, man, B Hawk, man. B Hawk comes from when I was in high school. I played sports, and you got your name on the shirt is usually your first name, B Hawkins. So we used to always abbreviate it. Like I had a buddy named Dwayne Stelly, we called him D Stell. So B Hawk, and it just stuck with me. And after everybody see me, they call me that. And then when I got into this, I just wore my hat to one of the MD Expos because I just had it. Vegas, matter of fact. And everybody started calling me B Hawk. I was like, wow. So it's been my name locally, but not in the biomed world. But it's taken off.
So this is gonna be both of us saying y'all need to come to the MD Expo in Vegas. It's gonna be dope. We're gonna be in the trenches with all the other booths.
Yes.
Talking people's ear off. Yeah.
We're gonna have to do an interview together with somebody. Mix it up some.
We'll be at the tables right next to each other.
We're gonna mix it up. I'm gonna go sit at your booth. You come sit at my booth.
Well, it would kind of be like taking shifts almost. We'd be like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Man the bearded table.
This is Bryant working the bearded biomed booth. We got to mix it up, man.
You got to bring your DJ spinners.
Hey, man, look, I wish I could.
Turntable.
They downstairs, man. They wouldn't be. I usually have them behind me. I did a gig. I never brought them back up, but that's why I got all my albums on the wall. Let me see it. Well, I be DJing in the room.
Hey, I'm an audiophile too, man. I got a pretty decent vinyl collection myself.
It's so sad, man. I threw away like 200 albums in the 90s because I thought CDs was the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And vinyl was actually the real deal. And I'm trying to rebuild it, but I got rid of all of my vinyl. Like that poster there, that's a Adele concert I went to in Vegas. And I said, I gotta get the poster. So, of course, my Saints gear too. But you gotta have the football stuff. But...
Okay, well, since you brought it up and you want to put yourself through that, how you feeling about the Saints this upcoming year?
Hey, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man.
It don't seem like y'all got a plan going right now.
Man, they signed Chase Young.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to sign him. I mean, he'll be a good ad, but we got a Super Bowl, man, so I'm happy. There's no more Drew Brees. We probably never have another Drew Brees.
Y'all doing better than the Cowboys.
Oh, that's right, yeah, man. Y'all just know how to sell tickets, man. I give it to you. Y'all sell tickets.
I'm not a Cowboys fan. Okay. What's to be a fan of?
You're in Texas, man. How come you're not a Cowboys fan, man?
I prefer to appreciate great players as opposed to want to be great teams.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like CJ Stroud doing his thing down in Houston.
Yeah, I like
I'm curious, and their team got better this year.
Yeah. Well, we get a true tale next year when they got
Yeah, we'll
video
see.
on them, man. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
No, it's been a
We gotta
blast,
do it a
man.
little more often, man. We can maybe quarterly or
Yeah.
semi-quarterly.
We'll do like a after hours.
Maybe we can talk about MD Expo toward the end. What we experienced about it before we wrap it up on the last day, maybe.
Dude, I want to do something like after conferences, like share stories of like things that went down, like crazy stories.
Hey,
like
man.
Now I'm not gonna say who, but I know at a past conference that we did, we took a forklift on a joyride.
Oh wow, really, man? I didn't hear about that one, man.
Yeah, man.
We'll get arrested, man. Hey, in Vegas.
Hey, so for anybody that is wanting to learn more about HTM on the line, what you got going on? Point into where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me on HTMOnTheLine.com. It's my website. It has all of my content, podcasts, videos, blogs, newsletters, even some of my photography I put on there. It's HTMOnTheLine.com. And I also have a YouTube page, but I don't know the YouTube channel, but it's on the website. Website will get you everything about me.
And for some reason y'all cannot find it, you can also go to beardedbiomed.com, and I have him under the resources tab. Just go to beardedbiomed.com instead. That's fine.
I appreciate that, man. I'm about to create me a resource tab. There you go.
As always, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm a fan of the show.
Likewise.
I'm gonna keep tuning in to what you're bringing to the table, and congrats again on the Influencer of the Year.
Appreciate it.
Well deserved. And me and Bryant will be seeing y'all at the upcoming MD Expo, and I believe Amy as well. So,
yes, sir. All right.
All right. Take it easy, people.
Bearded Biomed.